Robotica-st.
Hello, welcome to the Robotica-st, the podcast about the often underappreciated test of robo agility, speed, and destruction. I'm Jimmy, and with me we have the Robot Wars guru himself, the cheeky chappy that is always happy, unless it's talking about Dr. Fist, of course. It's Anderson9132.
Yes, that is definitely true. How are you, Jimmy? Are you all good?
I am pretty good. I am looking forward to going through this episode. I quite enjoyed this, actually.
Yes, I'm looking forward to going through this episode as well. Also, updates for both of our lives since last time. I've got a cat and Jimmy got into a fight with a bedroom wall.
I did, yes. Well, 4 bedroom walls. I recently redecorated my studio office space. It's a lot brighter in here, and it is a lot less claustrophobic. Better place to be, you know?
Yeah, much better, which is good. And then, of course, my room is it's a state at the moment, but oh well, doesn't matter. I'm too lazy to sort it out, so that's my fault, really.
So, shall we get into it?
I suppose we should.
Our Robotica-st.
Yes, I'm quite looking forward to seeing what we see this week, because last week we saw a karate-inspired eagle losing to a lawnmower, so...
we did, yeah, that's right.
that is definitely a sentence that's never been said before, or ever again, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the fun with Robotica. Something new hits you in the face every time.
Let's start from the beginning, really. I still think this is very much a product of its time, isn't it? It's very clearly stuck in the mid-2000s, early 2000s sort of thing. Ahmet Zappa, I think he's slowly becoming one of my favourite hosts for Robot.
As it becomes even more unhinged.
Yeah.
Was this what you were like when you were doing your wallpaper the other week?
We're only on episode 2. But yes, I think he is. He's a good fit for this type of show.
Definitely so. I also noticed that Tanya, whatever her last name is, and Tanika Ray, they swapped positions. I guess that's something they're going to continue to do throughout the season. I have no idea. But... Yes,
whereas Ahmet is quite clearly just stuck in the cell that is above the arena, not allowed anywhere near anyone else, just him and the cameraman.
Yeah.
Really.
I don't think he actually was a host. He just broke in and just sat down and started rambling like crazy, and like, this'll do.
Oh, he's fine. He's one of the Zappa lot. He'll just keep him. He'll just put him in a leather jacket and yeah, he'll fit right in. I must say though, whilst I've been watching this, I found quite a fun thing to do. Ahmet kind of machine gun fires his delivery, so the best thing to do is slow him down. I watched a little bit of him on the YouTube video, slowed down, and oh my god, it is the funniest thing.
I look forward to hearing this.
I couldn't find a way to get them in, so I'm going to have to add them in post-production anyway.
Oh, okay.
So we're just going to have to pretend laugh, okay?
Okay, I'm ready
for this. Here's clip 1.
This red design wonder is built for speed, and they'll stop at nothing until they slap you in the dot.
Yeah. Clip 2.
This aluminum droid fires spears of death for sheer joy. You gotta love that.
This is very convincing laughter.
I'm an actor, what can I say?
And then finally, my favourite, clip 3.
It's Grimlock.
See what I mean? It's just so much better. Just
brilliant.
Gives him that drunken edge.
Oh, fantastic. That's it. From now on, everyone watching it, watch it in slow motion. You know, it just makes
take twice as long to watch.
It's worth it for that.
Anyway, enough about dicking about with Ahmet Zappa's voice. Let's get into our teams, I think. First, we have the red team and the blue team. Who is on the red team, Anderson?
From the red team, we have Jeff. I'm not going to try and even pronounce his last name. And he has, of course, Critical Mass.
Critical mass!
Which was the eventual winner of the episode, actually. And I thought it was awesome. Fun fact about Critical Mass, it's actually Manta from Extreme Warriors, which is my favourite Extreme Warriors robot. So that's something going for it.
I was watching it. I was watching thinking, where have I seen this configuration before? Where have I seen it? And then it struck me, it was Manta from Robot Wars. And, of course, it's pretty much the same layout, isn't it? Same weapon setup, same 6-wheel drive, I think it had.
Yes, 6-wheel drive, yes. As it should be.
It was £201, which is 91 kilograms in our British UK unit. It featured a blade of death.
Yes, as opposed to a blade of life. Or a blade of mild discomfort, yeah.
Kind of a fidget spinner on the rear end, wasn't it? And it also featured a big pointy spike.
Yes, because it's early 2000s, and if your robot doesn't feature a big pointy spike, you're not doing it right.
That's exactly right.
I mean, I love the look of Critical Mass. It looks sort of like a sleek stealth bomber almost, doesn't it? It looks really nice. And it had a multi-chain drive system, which for the time was pretty damn impressive because obviously one thing that a lot of robots suffered from in the early days was a broken chain. If you've got multi-chain drive, if one breaks, you've still got another one that still drives the system, so you still hopefully be all right. And they also had interchangeable gear ratios, so they could change the gearing and therefore the speed of the robot depending on what event they were taking part in.
Exactly. I suppose it's an early form of modular design, really, isn't it, when you think about it that way?
Definitely so. And I tell you what, Jeff's living the dream, because he's got that great big house in the middle of nowhere, so he's got no neighbours. He's got a workshop, people. So, me and Jimmy have got a desk, and here he is with a whole workshop. That's not fair.
Well, if you had a workshop that big, you would definitely build fighting robots,
I would.
so wouldn't you, Anderson?
Of course I would. I mean, I built ant weights in it. I don't care. Here I am in my workshop working on an ant weight. Ding, ding, ding.
Got to remember that everything is bigger over in America anyway.
Oh, of course.
That is his garden shed.
Yeah. Yeah, he's actually stricken by poverty living in that house. You see his neighbour's house, mate. Jesus, it's 3 times the size.
Okay, and on the blue team, we had Grimlock.
Grimlock.
Which is a pretty cool name.
Yes.
Taken from Transformers.
Yes. It's
I never watched Transformers, so you're gonna have to.
I'll be honest. I've only watched like 2 or 3 episodes of it myself. One interesting thing about Grimlock, it looks a lot like Red Dragon from Series 3.
Oh yes, very similar.
Very similar indeed.
Them jaws looked quite imposing initially. Let's say.
Yeah. Emphasis on the word "looked." What I want to know is what's rebar framing? What the hell is that?
I think it's just a framework made out of rebar.
I mean, you know me. The best thing I've built is a Lego model. I don't really know all these technical scientific terms.
Well, speaking of Lego, this one was prototyped in Lego, as we saw in the little segment.
It looks really, really cool, to be honest. I do like this one because I really enjoyed seeing the little mini build diary for this one. Because it felt so early Robot Wars, it was unreal. You know, taking a wheelchair, basically removing the seat from it, attaching a ram to it, and then making these great big huge dirty looking claws and saying, "There's my robot," and testing it on pipes.
Almost quite industrial, I think. Like, just let's throw a bunch of scrap at this old wheelchair and see what sticks.
Yes, I mean it is very much a shed build, and that to me is it shows like the sort of vast differences, because obviously Critical Mass was very much in a big workshop warehouse with roboteering experts, etc., etc. Meanwhile, this was just a bunch of mates getting together at some bloke's garage and just doing what they could do and have a laugh while they did it. And I'm all for that.
I think, yeah, that is probably the best way to build a fighting robot, is with your mates in a cold, damp shed out of old bits of wheelchair.
Yes. With the odd mug of tea, of course, because we're British.
Oh, exactly. Grimlock weighed £198, which is 90 kilos. It did look a bit like a massive staple remover, though.
As much effect as a massive staple remover
Yeah, exactly.
Now I think about it. Now, I mean, I'll give them credit. It looks interesting. I mean, considering the last episode, 3 out of 4 of them were just weapons boxes. You know, we've got some... This one comes along, it just looks so much nicer.
Yeah, it had a... Well, the weapon did function as it was supposed to. It just didn't have the rigidity behind it, really, did it?
No, yeah, exactly. It's a shame. If it was made of a stronger... If those jaws were made of a stronger material, we could have seen some genuine damage done from that, I think, because that was a pretty good ram.
Oh, that ram... yeah, I like that section where they went around that like industrial yard, Pacific Industrial Supply, I think it was in the episode. That is Robot Part Haven. Just let me loose in there and just buy a load of crap.
Heavyweight Volta coming your way soon.
Yeah, I'm just as effective as the original Beetle.
Last 12 seconds of Aftershock. Oh, yeah.
Right, let's move on to the silver team. Who was on our silver team, Anderson?
And heck of a name, this one. Belter-beast.
Belter-beast.
Yeah, this. What were we saying about robots that looked interesting and nice? It's sort of gone down a bit again, hasn't it? With this one, I'm not going to lie.
Do you know what really piqued my interest? You know the build your own bots, battle bots and Robot Wars kits?
Yes.
The 2 wedges on that are quite clearly as part of that set.
Yes, they are, aren't they? Yes.
So
these guys are way ahead of the times.
Exactly. And again, that was modular as well. They could take off the wedges and change up their configuration for their for the event that they were fighting in.
And they were sporting the team colours of silver.
Silver, exactly. Although, so would Grimlock, but we'll bypass that.
Yeah, it's the paint. Paint's expensive, let's be honest now. That's what it is.
Paint is the most expensive part about building a robot.
What I love, though, is they've got a rubber duck on it, haven't they? And when asked about it, they just said, we just found it and thought it looked cute. Where did you find
Obviously.
it? You're just walking down the road. There's a rubber duck. Oh, that'll do. Throw it on my robot.
The team also fought in BattleBots as well, I found out.
Oh, did they? I didn't know that.
Son of a Beast was their competitor for BattleBots.
Did it look any different to this?
I don't recall. I'm probably guessing no. Oh, it was I remember it was a lighter weight version. So they entered the lightweight competition in BattleBots.
That's fair enough.
But I couldn't find much more information.
Again, I love how the weapon bit says deadly wedge.
Deadly wedge.
As opposed to a non-deadly one. I mean, what makes a wedge deadly? I don't understand.
Well, one was spikes, wasn't it? One was like big knife type spikes, and the other one was a big plough.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't want to be hit by any of them at full force.
No.
Being a human being. But what I liked about it as well is it was a school team.
Yes.
So that's 3 very different types of team there, isn't it? You've got the big robotic experts, you've got the mates in the garage, and now you've got the youngsters who are learning to become the big robotic guys because I think they were doing engineering, were they not?
Yeah, at UCLA.
ULSA. Oh, no, it's
ULSA. Belter-beast was 74 kilograms. That was 163 pounds. Tank style drive, which is generally what a robot of this configuration would have.
Mm-hmm.
Big blocky silver box, really simple, but with the intention of it being effective, I think.
Yes.
Not being too overcomplicated. And then moving on to the gold team, we have the best painted robot, I think.
Yes.
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels!
Oh, I love Hot Wheels. I like the robot as well. Hey!
A tiny robot in comparison to the other ones. This one was 24 kilograms, 53 pounds, so much lighter than our previous offerings.
Is that lighter than Mini Inferno?
I can't remember. Haven't got my last week's notes to hand.
I will have a look later, and I will put a little asterisk thingy here saying whether or not it is.
But either way, that was 3 times lighter than the heaviest in the competition in the show. They featured a battering ram as well.
So it's clearly a lifter.
It was quite clearly a lifter, wasn't it?
It's like a little mini prize fighter with Hot Wheels flames, I thought.
Everything that the British seem to do, the Americans just want to add flames to.
That is true. But I was very interested in the self-designed steering mechanism.
Yeah, very unique, wasn't it? It's a rotating barrel with 2, not skateboard, rollerblade wheels, yes. It kind of allowed it to almost skid steer, I think we saw in the demo.
Yes.
And
it made it very controllable, as we'll see as we move on later. But what I really wanted to say was these guys have the dream job, don't they, really? They make toys for a living.
Working for Mattel.
I mean, that's what I want. I want that.
It's that little bit of child that's still left inside you that still wants to not only design toys, but play with them. And I think fighting robots kind of brings their... Well, they're the ultimate toy, aren't they?
They are.
Really, when you think about it.
As the Morgue team said, boys don't grow up, their toys just get more dangerous.
That is exactly true.
And this was also meant to have a flamethrower and a set of jaws, if I'm right in thinking, but unfortunately they didn't make the final bot. I don't know whether that's because Robotica wouldn't allow them to have a flamethrower or just because they didn't have time. But
I really liked the look of them jaws when they opened up and like kind of combed themselves into, because they had that jagged style to them. I thought that was pretty neat. It's a shame we didn't see that. That would have been pretty unique type of lifter.
Definitely.
Haven't seen anything like that before.
No, definitely not.
Okay, well, they are our 4 contenders. Shall we get speeding into the Speedway?
I see what you did there. Yes.
Do you see what I did? So, briefly, Anderson, what is the Speedway?
The Speedway's a simple thing, this. It's a figure 8 track. The 2 robots from each group will race each other going around it. And the winner is whoever can complete 8 laps the quickest, or whoever can complete the most laps by the time runs out. The winner gets a bonus 15 points, if I remember correctly. And I believe it's 10 points per lap you complete?
Yes.
Yes. So there we go. And it means, of course, because it's a figure 8 track, it means there's plenty of opportunity for carnage and mayhem, hopefully.
So, first one, red and blue, Critical Mass versus Grimlock.
Yeah. Grimlock was way too slow for this.
It was a bit sluggish, wasn't it?
Bless it. I think Critical Mass had done a whole lap before it had even gone round the first corner. It was just that slow.
But Critical Mass, bloody hell, that's fast, wasn't it?
Oh, it's a quick robot.
Like straight out of the starting block. A few bumps to begin with, but pretty much very well controlled, I think.
Yes. Yeah, it was well I mean, like you said, there was a few bumps to begin with, but they soon figured out how to avoid that, and they soon used the track to their advantage. Unfortunately, Grimlock, I think they did manage to complete a lap, but because they went off the out of bounds area, they lost a point, or I think they got a deduction or something, because they ended up with zilch at the end.
So they finished 1 lap and gained 10 points, but because they... Well, it looked like they were trying to make an aggressive beeline for Critical Mass, but I don't know if that was a control issue because they just ploughed straight into that concrete slab thing, you know?
Barrier.
I don't know, maybe they were trying to go for some aggression, but they completely missed, and it was kind of their downfall, really. The 10 points that they gained, they immediately lost.
Yeah, it's a shame. It is a shame, bless them. But not as much as a shame as what happened to their claw.
Yes, towards the end of the race, Grimlock did manage to get a grip on Critical Mass. Well, their claw wasn't made of very strong material and bent and buckled under the armour of Critical Mass.
Yeah, it is a shame. It is a shame because it looked like it had some power behind it, and they couldn't get away. Critical Mass, they were stuck in there, so it definitely had the grabbing power. It was just, unfortunately, the material itself wasn't quite robust enough to be an effective claw, which is a shame.
There was a very tiny dent on the lid of Critical Mass, wasn't there? So.
Yeah, which, considering the fact that the claw's bent considerably, that is reasonably acceptable. But yeah.
Well, they removed the claws for the rest of the event, didn't they? They never put them back on.
Yeah, I don't think they've bought any spares, which is a bit of a problem.
In hindsight, it means that they could take out the ram and they have less weight to worry about, really.
That is true. That is very true. But this was a very dominant win for Critical Mass.
Yeah. Grimlock was just a little bit too slow and sluggish to be able to rack up any serious points. And like I say, that was their downfall when they went out of bounds. So.
Yep.
Speaking of points, Critical Mass got 5 laps in that, and it's 20 points for the most laps, actually, rather than 15.
Oh, I do apologise, Points Master.
So they managed to rack 70 points overall, and Grimlock, of course, didn't gain any points.
Bless them.
Bless them, yes. Silver and Gold is next with Robotica-st and Hot Wheels.
This was awesome. This
was a good one, wasn't it?
Such a good race. Like, up to this point, I never really thought this would be an entertaining event because I was just watching robots go around an 8-figure-8 track. But these guys, because of how close it was, these guys made it a really good race.
Yeah, they were very close. They're very evenly matched. Hot Wheels was, I think, just had the better control and speed advantage. But well, I say that, Robotica-st trying to ramp over them, Hot Wheels push them back. Like, you get back to where you came from.
Yeah, Hot Wheels has got a lot of power for such a small little robot. It's very impressive, to be fair.
Like I say, Robotica-st is 3 times heavier than Hot Wheels.
Yes.
Hot Wheels could definitely put that power down.
Definitely. And that self-made steering mechanism really did help them here. It must have done, because it was so good. I think it hit the wall once towards the end, and I think it might have lost a bit of control. But apart from that, it was just phenomenal the whole way around. And it was very close. It was down to the wire. Like, at the very end, if I'm right in thinking, Robotica-st managed to make it a tie, but in the final second, Hot Wheels just went over the line again just to make it so they won that 1 extra point.
Oh, Hot Wheels got stuck under the railings as well.
Oh,
they
yes.
came round one corner and tapped Robotica-st and got caught under the barrier. Now, I don't know if Robotica-st deliberately knocked Hot Wheels out from the railings or if it was, again, a misjudgment of control. Because if they'd left them there, Robotica-st could have gained the advantage and scored more points.
They could have done. See, part of me wants to say that they did it on purpose, but I think what they maybe might have done is they might have wanted to and then thought, actually, no, let's not. But by turning, they accidentally clipped them.
And that was what released them.
And that was what released them in the end, yeah.
Good sportsmanship, bad control. I don't really know, but
yeah. If you are listening to this team, please tell me. Please tell us down below.
Yeah, comment, and subscribe. just get that in there now. But yeah, it was a very evenly matched race. Good on the action as well. A few hits, a few pushbacks. Both of them did very well.
Yes, definitely did. Close, a reasonable amount of contact, but without it being too much that it got in the way of the race. It was very, very nice. And definitely the best race of the series thus far.
Thus far, out of the
4
that we've already covered. So, from the point of view, we have Robotica-st managed to get 5 laps, which is, of course, 50 points. Hot Wheels clawed it ahead just by 1 extra lap, giving them 60 points. Adding on the 20 extra is 80 points. So
everything to play for there.
Next event?
The Maze.
The Maze.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. Are we going to have to put in a pun every time we change event?
Of course. Of course.
Okay, of course.
Although I don't know how we're going to do the next one, to be honest.
I've got an idea.
Oh, he's got it. He's he's the dad. Don't forget, he's the dad Vantage.
Yes,
I am. So the maze, for those who don't remember from last time, it's a bit like the Gauntlet from Series 1 and 2 of Robot Wars, only better. There's a variety of different obstacles that our robots have to get past. They include a seesaw wedge, a block, some speed bumps, some weird paddle door things with spikes, a gate, which they call a guillotine.
The garden gate, yeah.
And a waterfall, because America, I have no idea why. It's 15 points per obstacle cleared, I believe.
Yep.
And
plus,
I don't remember the bonus points for winning.
15 points per obstacle and 25 for finishing first.
That's the one. So there we go. That's why he is the points master, because he remembers this stuff.
I've got my notes, yeah.
Well, yeah. Hey, I did better this time. Leave me alone, alright? I did better with my notes this time.
Red and blue first. Grimlock versus Critical Mass, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Grimlock, I think, did remove the RAM for this, if I remember.
Yes, they did. They were like, if I'm right in thinking, he said the claws were too damaged, and it would just be too much weight to be dragging around. Meanwhile, if they were lighter, they could get over the obstacles a lot better, which worked out not so well, as we'll get to shortly.
Yes.
But they did tape a hammer to the front of it.
Did they? I didn't see that.
They did, yes. It was very funny. Don't really know why they taped a hammer to the front of it.
Downforce, probably. But yeah, this was a pretty seamless and flawless victory for Critical Mass.
I tell you what, they must have completed it in seconds.
They did not even break a sweat.
No.
They had a little bit of trouble between the railings and the paddle, as they came through the second one.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, easy and work.
I maintain, without editing, if we'd just seen that run from beginning to end, it couldn't have been longer than 30 seconds.
No.
I mean, they got over the ramp and past the block before Grimlock had even got to the frickin' ramp, let's be fair now. And then it somehow kept getting stuck. I thought Grimlock would have been alright on the ramp because it has such a huge ground clearance, but they just kept on getting stuck on the side of it, didn't they?
Yeah, again, control issue, probably. I would have thought them chunky tyres would have at least helped them tackle some of the obstacles quite well, but, well, they didn't even get over the seesaw, did they?
No, unfortunately not. And it's a shame because I think they would have done really well against the ultimate robot killer, which is the speed bumps.
Yes, speed bumps notoriously bad for low ground clearance, and obviously Grimlock's got them big chunky tyres, which would have been ideal, really, but it's a shame that they never really got past the first hurdle.
Yeah, it is a shame. But at the end of the day, you can't take it from Critical Mass.
No, Critical Mass ploughed through there, didn't they?
They did. It's very much a robot built for both combat and obstacles, which is a lot of robots, which is better than a lot of robots from actual Robot Wars as well, now I think about it. So many of them were either built for obstacles or built for fighting. There was no in between for a lot of them robots.
So that was quite a short, sweet event, really, wasn't it?
It was.
Do you know the points? Am I brave enough to ask you?
This is going to be tough. If I'm right in thinking, it's none for Grimlock.
Yeah.
And it's 20. No, it's 15 points per obstacle, isn't it? So I'm gonna say, oh bugger, 60 points plus 25, so that would be 85 points.
Well, they got 100 points.
Oh, well, there you go then. So that shows
25 points for finishing and 75 points for each obstacle.
Oh, there was 5 obstacles, of course. Sorry, me being stupid. Yeah. I do apologise.
Close. See me after class.
Great. Yeah, we'll go to the pub. We're going to the pub again, sir.
Yes.
They're open now. Wait, hey.
Yeah, they are. Yes. God, that's going to date this, isn't it?
It is.
Firmly in the summer of 2020.
Yeah.
So yeah, no brainer for Critical Mass on that. Gold and silver, Hot Wheels, Belter-Beast. Hot Wheels, I think they opened up their wedge, didn't they? They had that open nose to increase the ground clearance.
And to give it that battering ram.
That battering ram. Belter took off their scoops, so they were going in as a silver box.
Which I think was probably the best tactic they could have done, really. I think their wedges would have screwed them with the ramp and with the speed, although it didn't really matter either way, but they would have struggled even more with the speed bumps, I think.
I mean, they both got off to a pretty good start.
They did.
Belter made short work of the seesaw and the roadblock. Hot Wheels kind of struggled with the roadblock, probably due to its lack of size. Of course, Belter got through the paddles okay, but came a cropper on them pesky speed bumps.
Yeah. Of all the things, the guillotine, the water, the paddles, nope, some wooden planks on the floor. That is what
yes.
That is what is ending many robots campaigns at the moment, unfortunately.
If they had a tiny bit more ground clearance, they probably would have been okay and may have got over all right, but
and they would have won because they were ahead. They were quite a bit ahead. For some reason, Hot Wheels was really struggling with the panels, wasn't it? I don't really know why.
Well, they went in forward first. They managed to get through the first one, and they struggled with the second one. So there was a moment where they reversed, turned around, went in backwards because there's a higher side on the back end.
Yeah.
They weren't getting wedged under that second paddle. I think I'm right in saying that they have higher ground clearance on the back as well. That probably helped them get over the speed bumps better. They took quite a short route as well through the speed bumps. They hugged that inner wall, so they didn't have as much distance to go. I thought that was quite an interesting tactic.
Yes.
But it kind of was fruitless, really, because they struggled with that final wet ramp, didn't they? They didn't have the grip to get over.
Yeah, they didn't have the grip, and I just don't think they had the power. If they had a chance to have a run up, they would have done it, but there wasn't enough room.
Which is a shame because both of them, up until that point, up until the speed bumps, were doing pretty well, I thought.
They really were, and it was a really good close maze. Sorry, there we go. Forgetting my words. It was very. I mean, this group is definitely the best group of the episode, in my opinion, because of how close it was between them.
Yes.
Every event was close, and I think. I mean, you admired Hot Wheels' tactics a moment ago. I want to admire Belter tactics of slowly trying to chip away the speed bumps.
We're just gonna erode them to nothing, and then we'll definitely get through.
Imagine if it just popped off after like the 50 million. They're still there. The batteries are drained, and it just gently nudges it. Yes, we finally got past the first one.
Well, had they got past the speed bumps, I think they probably would have been okay with the wet ramp with their four-wheel drive.
Yeah, four-wheel drive, the power. I think they would have had no problem getting up that ramp.
Again, it was fruitless, wasn't it? They couldn't get over the wooden planks.
Yep. Bit of wood is all it takes to ruin everything.
So it was quite close in the points as well here as well. Belter managed 3 obstacles, which was 45 points, and Hot Wheels managed 4 obstacles, which was 60 points. Should we go over the points so far? Because I have actually written down the point lead.
I think
between the two groups. So Belter would currently be on 95 points at this point, and Hot Wheels would be on 140 points, which is a 45-point lead. And Grimlock is on 0 points so far, and Critical Mass is on 170 points.
Close.
So that is a 170-point lead between Critical Mass and Grimlock. Yeah.
Oh, bless them. And you know what the most unfortunate bit is for me is that the team captain of Grimlock, his last name is Anderson.
I know. Were you feeling a bit like, come on, do it for the Andersons?
Well, you know, I was, but at the same time, like I said, Critical Mass is Manta, and I love Manta, so I wasn't too bitter. I wasn't as bitter as I could have been over it. But that's how it goes, though.
That's how it goes.
170-point lead. Jesus Christ. Can we just appreciate that the weaponless eagle, the weaponless sunset paint job eagle with a piece of metal zip tied to the front of it did better than Grimlock.
Yes, it did. It's because it had a kick-ass paint job. That's what it
was. It was the paint job.
clearly ploughed it through the course better than this modified wheelchair with a staple remover.
There you go. I mean, this is it. If you want to do well, paint your robot. It's not difficult.
Right, moving on to the next event, which is the Gauntlet, where the two teams throw down the gauntlet.
Hey.
You see what I did there?
I see what you did there.
It's terrible, isn't it? What is the gauntlet, Anderson?
So it's a big glove thing. No, so a gauntlet is very different to the gauntlet that was on Robot Wars. Basically, it's basically two drag racer lanes, and along these straight lanes is a bunch of walls of varying degrees of difficulty. So you have a glass pane, you have some paint cans or baked bean tins, I'm not too sure. You have some bricks, you have some concrete slabs, and then at the very end is a safe. Obviously, it's despite the fact that every wall increases in difficulty, they're all the same amount of points, which I don't understand. If I'm right thinking, they are 15 points per wall, and then the safe is a bonus. You get a bonus 25 for pushing the safe across the line first, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
And for some reason, I've noticed this because they did it in the last one as well. They swapped the groups around, so Group B goes first.
And then red and blue went next, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't really get that, to be honest, but whatever.
So, silver and gold, Belterbeast and Hot Wheels. Belterbeast was going in with their plough, the front plough.
Best option they could have used.
And Hot Wheels went back to their original flat wedge. As in, the nose was down this time. Hot Wheels, fast, although that's kind of understandable, through the obstacles. Didn't they get wedged under the rails at first, if I remember?
I can't remember now. I think they
had a lack of control a little bit, but they managed to pull it back.
I know that once they did, they ploughed through the walls, no problem. I know that much. Because they went to the sides.
Yes, they got to the safe before Belterbeast. Well, they didn't really have the power to push the safe.
Bless them.
That gave Belterbeast the time to catch up. You see all the debris that it collected on the top flat panel.
Yeah, that was the bit I thought was quite funny because Hot Wheels managed to just bash through all the walls, no problem, and literally brought no debris with it. And then you just got Belterbeast just slowly carrying half the course just with it.
Taking the wall with me. Belterbeast had the more power in this, didn't they? And they
proof that slow and steady can indeed win the race, which is what happened here. But it wasn't quite enough, unfortunately.
No, they did manage to score the higher points in this.
They did.
Putting the safe over the line. Again, Hot Wheels size and speed not really an advantage in this event. Well, they only managed to cover the 4 obstacles, Hot Wheels, and Belterbeast covered 5, and of course got the extra 25 points. So Belterbeast had 100 points, Hot Wheels had 60 points.
And it was a very close amount of points at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think these two, despite their size, very evenly matched throughout, you know?
Definitely. Which is much more than can be said for red and blue.
Yes. Although this one was quite interesting. Red and blue going through the gauntlet.
Yes. Grimlock scored some points!
It did! It scored some points. Eventually.
Yeah, this is what I don't get. It struggled more with the glass than it did with any of the cans or the bricks or the slabs. How is that even possible?
In fact, I've got this written down here that Grimlock scored more points than Critical Mass.
God, it did, didn't it?
It did.
Because Critical Mass did its usual thing, didn't it? Just vroom, straight in there. But they got themselves beached.
I think that was their downfall, because if they had gone a bit slower, they probably would have been able to keep that debris out of their wheels. Mm-hmm. But because of the high speed that they came out of the starting blocks with, they kind of ramped up on all that debris and, like you say, beached themselves, and they were not going anywhere.
Yeah, it literally stopped as quick as it started, didn't it? Really
It did. Grimlock actually did make it to the safe.
It did. And then got stuck.
And then got stuck.
Bless them for trying, eh? Can't.
But here's the point. Would Grimlock have, had it not been stuck, would it have actually managed to push the safe across the line?
I don't know. I doubt it, personally. I mean, I don't know. It didn't seem to have much problem with the other walls apart from the glass. But the thing is, it had that wedge attachment on the front of it for this, so maybe that might have helped them a little bit. But
yeah, they put like a plate of checker metal, didn't they, on the front to get through? Might have worked.
Might not have.
They got some points at least. They got some points.
Yes.
It wasn't a wasted journey.
Bless their hearts. You feel for them, you really do. But at the same time, this is what happens, unfortunately.
So, points so far. So the total points from the entire competition. Grimlock managed to finish with 60 points.
Woo!
Which is a gain of 60 points from the last event. Critical Mass adds their 45 points to make a total of 215 points, which puts them 155 points into the lead, and that means they're going through to the fight to the finish. This one, however, was very close. Belterbeast added on their 100 points to make 195. Hot Wheels added on their 60 points to get 200 points. Only 5 points between it.
That is close. That is very close.
So Hot Wheels only just going through to the fight to the finish, which means, who do we have in the fight to the finish, Anderson?
We have Hot Wheels versus Critical Mass.
A big machine versus a not so big machine.
First of all, Hot Wheels' secret weapon.
It came into that arena thinking, what the hell is it wearing? Like,
it looked like something someone would wear on a stag night, didn't it?
Yeah.
I had no idea what that was. It was just like that. And to be honest, I think a net firing device was probably the last thing that would have entered my head.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's obviously a change in the rules between Robotica and other fighting competitions like BattleBots and Robot Wars, but nets, as we know, are banned, or they certainly were banned originally.
Yes.
Entanglement devices, but it seems that this can be a usable weapon attachment.
I mean, I'll give them credit. They thought outside the box. They sort of overshot it a bit, though. What I want to know is what the hell was with them starting where they started?
Yeah, I thought that. I thought they should have started on the other side of the raised arena, but they kind of came up close to Critical Mass, didn't they? They were still moving around as Activate was being called.
Yeah, surely that was an insta-ban. But, I mean, I don't know. It's early days in Robotica. Maybe they hadn't quite ironed out all the creases yet with the rules. But I think that's the only time a robot started next to their opponent.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that was it tactical? Was it tactical?
Maybe, because maybe they wanted to get close to get the net, but then they overshot it. They would have been better off starting where they should have started.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this battle, this fight to the finish battle.
Way better than the last one.
Yeah, exactly. Critical Mass using its full mass, I think, just ramming Hot Wheels as much as they could. Like we say, the net didn't really do anything. If anything, it was more of a hindrance to Hot Wheels than what it was to Critical Mass.
Yeah, because they kept getting stuck on top of it, didn't they?
To be honest, I don't really know why they opted to use a net, because their unique steering setup on Hot Wheels, that spinning barrel of wheels, that surely is a recipe for disaster should it get a net tangled in there anyway. So
yeah, that was a bit not too much forward thinking was used.
And Critical Mass has 6-wheel drive anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Critical Mass has proven throughout this show that unless it's bricks and paint cans, it can get over pretty much anything. I do think there might have been a bit of a lack of forward thinking on their part, but but I mean, it depends, because if they got it into the spinner, then it wouldn't have been on the floor, so it wouldn't have been such a problem.
Right. Yeah.
But I think they didn't quite weigh out the risks involved, because there was definitely a large risk of them using that weapon, and it did eventually, because before they were getting snagged on their net, they were doing quite well at keeping the wedge pointed at critical mass. The critical mass kept going up them, so they could then push them around a bit, but eventually they kept getting stuck, and then they kept getting hit in the sides.
I did think that critical mass was going to ramp over Hot Wheels and into the jagged spikes below, but that would have been cool to see.
That would have been very funny.
Critical mass was just a battering ram, and they actually used their weapon in this as well. They managed to get their fidget spinner spun up.
Yeah, it managed to get a good KO shot as well, getting them in the side and flicking them over, and hitting them hard in the underside at the same time.
Yeah, so, a few low blows whilst Hot Wheels was on its roof. But it was effective. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. And yeah, as soon as Hot Wheels was upside down, they were sitting ducks, really.
So this marks a point in Robotica history, the first legit KO.
First legit KO.
Because I'm sorry, I don't count Killer Bee getting stuck in a sidewall as a legit KO.
Yeah, they were just waiting for the barriers to fall down in that last episode, weren't they?
They were,
pinned against the wall.
Well, an interesting thing, I read the comments in the video afterwards just to see what people thought of the episode, whatever. And I noticed a comment, and I was like, really? I look back and it's true. You can see stagehands pulling ropes which caused the walls to fall down.
What, actually in the arena?
Not in the arena, but if you look at the arena, when the walls fall down, you see a bunch of people wearing white jumpers or whatever running away from the arena. So they pull it down with a rope and then they book it before a robot falls off, basically. I'm just like, what? That would never happen today. You could never.
I might keep an eye on them for the next episode.
That is absolutely mental, because I watched the fight again afterwards just to see if I could spot them, and you see a bunch of people sat around there wearing white jumpers or whatever, looking like stagehands, and then all of a sudden, when the walls fall, you then see them all running away. It's very funny.
Yeah, that definitely would not happen in today's robot fighting climate, would it?
I'll tell you what, if I was working in a condition where a heavy robot could potentially fall and hit you on the head, I want to be doing time and a half. All right, I'm just saying.
Even 25 kilograms worth of robot, that's still a decent weight to get clocked around the head with, isn't it?
Definitely so.
But yeah, I thought this fight to the finish was very good, high on the action, some surprises in there with the net.
But it was good. It was a very good fight to the finish. And I look forward to seeing some more, because I do think that this sort of way of doing it is a bit underrated, because it allows battles to be much quicker paced, and it allows battles, So, for example, there have been for example, Foxic versus MR Speed Squared, or however you want to bloody pronounce it. That was very boring because it was 3 minutes of nothing happening. But because there's only a minute before the walls drop, there's all the tension of, we've got to do as much as we possibly can before these walls drop, etc., etc., and it gives it just a much quicker pace.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's almost something to look forward to. The battlefield has changed a little bit. You've got to change your tactics up a bit.
Yes.
It's almost kind of akin to the pit dropping in Series 4 of Robot Wars, I think.
Yes.
It adds another element of danger. You've got to be controlled around that area of the arena. Of course, the entire walls drop. You've got to keep your fighting centered. But no, I thought this whole episode was very good, actually.
Yes, it was a very, very good episode.
Critical Mass was a deserving winner as well. I don't think they had any problems. Apart from being high-sided on that debris, but they were so far ahead in the lead that didn't really matter.
No, they could have literally not started and they still would have won that.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter at all.
Good episode overall. Are we going on to our favourite threes?
We are going on to our favourite threes. The three amigos, the three Roboteers.
Well, what are you on, mate?
I don't know. I was trying to think of a pun for Three Musketeers, and all I could think of was Roboteers.
Oh, right. Oh, I completely forgot about the pun thing, yeah.
We didn't do one for the fight for the finish. Oh, bugger.
I'll think up one for next week.
That's
it's okay, it's fine. No one will notice. So, yeah, we're going to go through our favourite bot. So the favourite robot from the entire episode. Our favourite event. So that's the individual event team-wise. And our favourite moment from the entire episode. Is that right? I think that's right. I think that's how we do it.
100% correct.
So, Anderson, favourite bot from this entire episode?
Right. Now, I wanted to go originally with Hot Wheels because, again, it's very much like Mini Inferno. It's the lightweight underdog that's also got some pretty unique ideas behind it. But at the end of the day, I couldn't ignore Critical Mass because whilst, don't get me wrong, like I said, I love Hot Wheels. Critical Mass also has original, unique drive setup system. It also looks really, really good. It's got a much better weapon on it. It was built for the competition. It steamrolled it pretty much. And like I said, it gets bonus points for being Manta in drag. So there we go.
Yeah, I 100% agree. My favourite bot from that was Critical Mass. It was very well designed and clearly designed to tackle all of the obstacles that we've seen in the Robotica arena. Of course, they had a good weapon as well, which, although only came into effect in the last event, in the fight to the finish, it worked as intended. It did its job. Yeah, I just like the look of Critical Mass. It looks old school, but it's still kind of modern enough to not really, I want to say not look out of place in today's standards. I kind of want to say it reminds me a bit of Mortis in the way that Mortis looks.
Yes.
You know, that sleek black stealth bomber sort of look, very low to the ground, good setup for drive, and yeah, they quite clearly were on their A game and they slaughtered their way through, didn't they?
They did, yes.
Okay, favourite event. What was your favourite event?
To be honest, it was quite tricky because there were a few good segments of this one. Obviously, all of Group B was good. I liked Group A's Gauntlet just because it was hilarious. And I liked the fight to the finish. But I think of the lot, the closest one, because it was right down to the wire at the very end, was the Group B or the Gold and Silver Speedway.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
It's just because it was so close and it was brilliant. You know me, I like driving control, and I was in awe at just how well the robots are driven in that one, especially Hot Wheels. There was a reasonable amount of combat between the two of them as well. And you know me, I like things that are close, and this was very close.
I mean, it could have been very boring if they stuck to their lanes and just raced around. And again, that might have been just as close. But the fact that they decided to have a little bit of a bash as they go around ranks it quite highly, I think. But it wasn't my favourite event, alas.
That's fair enough.
My favourite event, of course, was the fight to the finish. Because it was just good. It was a culmination of two good robots. And I know Hot Wheels had the disadvantage with being so much lighter, and they bought in the net that didn't really do anything. But Critical Mass just powered on through. I would say that Hot Wheels kind of held their own. Had that spinning blade not span up, I'm pretty sure they would have gone the full distance at least until the barriers came down. So yeah, I think two very well designed robots sort of slugging it out to finish off that episode was a good call, you know?
Yeah, definitely. That's understandable.
And then we move on to your favourite moment.
There was only ever going to be one winner of this, wasn't it? And it was Critical Mass KOing Hot Wheels. Just because it was such an awesome KO.
Well, you say that.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, I agree, of course, but I didn't write that down. My favourite moment was just kind of how close I mean, you could apply this to more than one event, but how close Hot Wheels and Belterbeast were through the maze. I think it showed the advantages, again, of both Hot Wheels and Belterbeast, and of course the disadvantages. Well, like we say, they were two very evenly matched machines, but Hot Wheels just that little bit more refined. Belterbeast getting caught on the on the speed bumps. I just feel sorry for them. I think if they had a bit more ground clearance, a little bit more power, they probably would have done all right.
Yeah.
Because they were doing so well up until that point.
They were. It was a shame. It was a shame. That was a great moment. I mean, that's the thing. This episode was full of great moments.
It certainly was. And I think if you overlook the shortcomings of Grimlock, I think this would be a very highly rated episode.
Yes. And even then, I mean, Grimlock, whilst it wasn't great, at least it looked interesting, and it was more than just a metal box that turned up.
Exactly. Which moves us nice and smoothly on to our episode score.
Oof.
So we rank this out of 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, obviously. How high did you rank this episode, Anderson?
Well, now that we've watched one episode, we actually have something to base it off of. The last one I based more on what I was expecting. This time I knew what I was going to have to expect, so I am much more confident with my rating this time around, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean the last episode, I think I gave it a high 6, a low 7. Comparing it to this episode, I'm going to say it was probably more of a 6 last time. This episode, I think, again, is an 8. I agree with you. I think 8, kind of, not faulting Grimlock, but if there was a more capable robot in there to make it a bit tighter, between critical mass, then I think it would have ranked higher. But I don't really want to say Grimlock kind of brings the episode down. but I get what you mean when you say that Grimlock was an interesting design, appeals to that old school robot builder, that wheelchair layout, massive jaws. It may not have been effective, but it did certainly look the part.
Yeah, definitely. And you think Grimlock was a bit of a letdown. Well, I've done a sneak peek of what robots we have to expect next time around, and let's just say we have a King Buxton wannabe, a mechanical garden shed, and a box with some wire cutters. So that's going to be interesting.
How exciting. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good episode. I would have even said that they should have put this as episode 1.
Yes, I think they should have, just because, don't get me wrong, the first episode was solid as a first episode, but the first episode is the most important one. You need to have the one that's the most exciting, or the most, like this one was, to get more people invested in watching the next one. Exactly,
yeah, I completely agree with that. It's not that the last episode was bad, it's just that this one was much better.
Yes. I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been like what they did for Series 2 and used that heat for Heat A. Who'd thought napalm in Heat A was a good idea? Seriously.
Napalm. Well, what was napalm actually made out of? Was it papier-mâché? Or...
I think so, yeah. I don't know. Ask Rara. She knows.
Answers, please, in the comment section.
Yeah. If you're watching, please tell us.
Any other thoughts before we wrap up?
Not really. I think we've covered it all pretty well.
I think we've done a pretty good job on this one. Much better than fumbling through the last episode, I must admit. This has been the Robotica-st. I have been Jimmy. Let's plug ourselves. Let's haul ourselves out. Okay, so I have been Jimmy Cottam. Please check out my stuff. My YouTube channel is home to Robotic Idiotic, where I attempt to build robots, and I look at other bits of robot combat culture as well when I get the chance to. At the time of recording, I have just released my beta weight design videos. So I am currently redesigning my original beta weight Volta, but on a better scale, let's say. because original Volta was terrible. And also at the time of recording, we're looking forward to RoboNerd Cyber Week. Both of us have projects going out for that, and it would mean a lot to me and Anderson and all of us who've put in the effort if you could go check out their channel as well. Should all still be up by the time we release this video, to see what projects that we have been getting up to for RoboNerd 2020, because of course it had to be cancelled. Damn virus.
It's just, this year's been crap, hasn't it? It really has. And I've of course been Anderson9132, the Robot Wars Guru. You can see me on my YouTube channel, Anderson9132, where I have two main series. One is the Robot Wars Guru, where I take a look at many different things to do with Robot Wars and robot combat in general, usually in angry, drunken rants. And there's also my other series, which is RWA Rebirth, which is basically a series where I play with toys and put it on the internet. I know, it's weird. Deal with it. But I also whore myself out to a lot of other content creators. I'm a big part of the Robotica-st. I'm a regular guest on there with Samuel864. I appear regularly on World of Woodrow's channel because he's awesome. And I've also just recently started another project because I hate myself and I haven't got enough to do already. We're called No More Spinners, where myself, World of Woodrow, and Ryan from Spinner Proof basically attempt to do No More Jockeys, which is done by Alex Horn, but with robots instead of celebrities. So go check it out if you can.
All very interesting. It means a lot to us if you can check out our stuff. Get me some more subscribers. Currently, I'm on 90. I have 10 to go before I reach 100. I'm so excited.
I've been floating around 250 to 60 now for months. It's like, come on, get me past this. Get me to 300, please.
But yes, find us on the internet. We're out there doing crazy stuff. And all that is left to do now is say goodbye. So, goodbye from me, Jimmy.
Goodbye from me, Anderson.
And goodbye, because I'm going to put it in at the end. Goodbye from Ahmet Zappa, but slowed down. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Well, that's it for me. I'm Ahmet Zappa, and on behalf of Tanika Ray and Tanya Memi, goodbye from Robotica.
Can you hear that? That is the bin men taking away the noisy glass. They pick their bloody times. Why don't you come in the morning?
Because you'd be moaning that they woke you up, probably.
I went out, didn't I? Oh, it wouldn't have bothered me. Yeah, that's right. You shovel that crap into the back of your Sorry, they're going off on a tangent.
You really are a dad, aren't you, Jimmy? You really are a dad.
I may have decorated the room, but I haven't put any sound insulation up yet, so it's still very echoey, very noisy.